Hello, 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 everyone.
How are you doing?
I am well today on this good Black Friday, huh?
Did you hear what I said about you?
I started to hear the beginning part of it. I just tuned in, so I'm just coming on your live. I was actually live on my page. I thought we was going to do it the opposite way around.
Well, I did too. That would have made more sense on you. But listen, this is Black Friday, and I just figured since the country calls this Black Friday, the least Black people can do is focus on being Black on Black Friday. If we
That's right.
the other day. But what I said about you and what I was talking about when you came on was this. The reason I admire you and support you and appreciate your spending some time with me on Black Friday is because you are not a hashtag activist. You don't sit back and wait for somebody else to do something to support Black people. You are dealing with Black women's lives matter all the time. It's not a fad for you. It's a commitment, it's a passion, and you put that as a priority. And I was saying that if Black people don't put Black people as a priority, by now we should know nobody else will either.
And that's a fact, a stone cold fact.
So thank you. So tell us, I'm so excited to see you.
Yes, I'm excited to see you. The energy is good in the building, and I feel like folks that are tuning in are going to learn a lot from this conversation.
Well, good. Well, I gave a little background on Black Friday, first of all, but I want to talk about you. I want to talk about Black women's lives matter. So
Okay.
How did this come to be?
Well, I've actually been doing a lot of on the ground work, and I see the need for resources and finances and support for Black women, right? So we do a lot of things, and a lot comes up about Black males. But even when we take a look at George Floyd and the difference of what happened in his case in the Breonna Taylor case, it just always seems that Black women get the short hand of the stick, right? So I wanted to be able to create something that could celebrate, honor our Black women, give us information and resources, really form that sisterhood, right, that we need. You know, because even in our community, a lot of times we keep things to ourselves. We don't share with others. And I wanted to kind of create that sisterhood where we uplift, celebrate, right? And then as well do the on the grounds work. So I kind of did a 2-in-1. We have a platform which consists of an online platform where we support and we get daily messages of inspiration, whether it be on Black women history, financial literacy, you know, investing and things that we can do, and even relationships. We have Sister Girl Talk. Then we have the on the ground stuff. So when we need each other, we need to pull together our resources. What we have done now is we've created a apparel line. That's a good apparel line, because sometimes, you know, when they do the activist apparel line, it's not really necessarily fashionable. So we want it to be fashionable, right? But then we want it to be socially conscious, where proceeds are actually going to on the ground work. So I partnered with the Until Freedom team, and we have proceeds from the apparel line going to the groundwork, which is so important to me. That consists of schools, right? So we're empowering schools because it starts with the young adults. We're giving them the mindset of how to be powerful, right? How to own their own, how to sustain in such an economy such as this, giving them on the ground knowledge. And then also with the activism in the street. My team right now is in Georgia canvassing, right? Because they want to make sure that we have enough Black and brown voters to take over the Senate in Georgia. So stuff like that. We out there doing it.
Well, that's so important. You know, I preached at Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Pastor Warnock, who is pastor, the Sunday after the shutdown. In other words, our governor in New Jersey shut all of us down on a Friday, and I was in Georgia. So I had to preach from Warnock's church that Sunday, but I had to tune in my church because I wasn't there. And but he and I spent a lot of time together. I've known him for years.
Wow.
We spent a lot of time together. We had dinner together after service, and we talked about the financial issue. I'm leading up. We talked about how much money is needed. And you see, Jamila, why your strategy is so important. You can elect people all you want, but if you don't contribute to their expenses, they don't take you seriously. I don't care if they're Black or white. So we've got to be able to not only vote, but we've got to generate revenue that can support these campaigns in ways that they need support. So this whole idea of making noise, but also making money and having that money flow into the causes we care about, that's critical, because
Yes.
we don't get in front of our money. If we don't support the people that support our causes, we'll be talking, but we won't own anything, including the people that we elect to office. That's a brilliant strategy. And
Thank you.
we want people during the holidays to support
Yes.
the platform. Where is that platform?
It's Black Women's Lives Matter .shop. So we are having a Black Friday blowout. Everything on the entire site is 20% off. And our shirts celebrate Black women. So it's things that say like proud Black women, frontline soldiers. It's just shirts that you could be proud of. So you're wearing something that's fashionable, but at the same time, you're proud of the cause, right? And a lot of times we have Black-owned businesses that come up off of us, but then they don't give back to the community. And that's not what this is either. I feel like it's important to have a balance, right? We can't just make and take care of our own families. We have to give back. And that's, you know, all that. That's the Christian principle. The more you give, the more you shall receive. So we're all about giving back, flowing back into our communities, and not just through finances, but also through information and education, because those resources are also equally as important.
You know, I put together this brand and this curriculum called dfree. And
I saw it. I think it's, I actually was at one of your conferences in Indianapolis that you did in the school. You did it with my partner, Yandy Smith. You had her come in.
You and Yandy were there. That's right.
Yes, so I was able to go.
That dfree has 4 levels. We say get started, get control, get ahead, and then give back. I don't think you can have true wealth or true success until you give back. And if you're not giving back, then you are literally stealing the blessings that you have and using them for yourselves. Yeah. How's
Can I
Yandy
say
doing?
this to you? Your curriculum, because I took a look at your curriculum, is by far one of the most dynamic curriculums I've seen for Black and brown students. I thought it was amazing, right? So, I mean, I'm actually happy to be on this platform with you today, but I want to commend you and salute you, because not only did I hear about your work, I actually saw your work. It's one thing to hear, but then it's another thing to see. I saw how the students were so impacted by the words and by the information, and just the whole spirit, the movement, your team, the hospitality. So, I mean, leadership, and I knew leadership on that team had to be strong with just the way that they greeted us and how they took care of the students. It was amazing. So salute to you for actually being one of the folks that are like us, that don't just talk the talk, but actually, in fact, walk the walk.
Oh, I want you to keep talking, girl. That's how. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that, because I promised God when I was 16 years old that I was going to work to help Black people all of my life. And I don't ever want to be found guilty of breaking my promise. But let's go back to your point about how Black men seem to attract support in ways that Black women don't. I don't think anybody Black attracts support in light of all we're going through, but it is a fact. It is a fact. And I think it's deeper than that, you know, from slavery.
Let's talk about it. So let's go from slavery, where massa used to rape us, right? Where massa divided us. So a lot of times we talk about the mentality of African Americans, but we don't talk about the women. We had the house Negro and we had the field Negro. So women, okay, and African American women of all different shades have been pitted against each other for oh so long. And just as in males, this mentality kind of has grown with us, and we tend to fight with one another instead of lifting and pouring and helping. So it's not until we tear down the strongholds, right? So it's the mindset that has to shift and change before anything can happen. And that's what this movement is all about too. It's tearing down strongholds and showing women, listen, you could be successful and the girl next to you could be successful too. It's okay. There could be 2 queens in a total kingdom, or queendom, I would call it, right?
Jamila, I mean, let's just, we're on Instagram, you know. I mean, this is our platform that they let us use it. So these housewives, on TV,
Mm-hmm.
to attract large audiences, depending on how mean they can be towards each other.
Mm.
How does that fit into your movement?
It doesn't fit into the movement. Like, it's never okay to tear another queen down, even when you have disagreements. I've had disagreements, right? And I would choose to walk away, but I'm not going to tear my sisters down. Like, that's just not necessary. But for whatever reason, we think that we go up a notch when we take someone else down. And even in corporate America, we have so many other battles. We can't afford to battle against each other. Right?
Yeah.
So I feel like someone has to show it. You have to show it, and people have to see, well, wow, this thing could happen. So I feel like now is the time. We have a vice president who is an African-American woman. So many different African-American women are going up the chains and ladders. And my sister, Tamika D. Mallory, I love me some Tamika D. Mallory if I don't love nothing else, coming out to the forefront, using their platforms and fighting for other Black women and saying that it's necessary. So that's what we're screaming right now. Black women, you are strong, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you can do anything, and you can do anything together. Together, in fact, you can actually achieve more. So it's all about unity, it's all about sisterhood, it's all about sharing information, because you really don't get to the next level until you have access, right? And access also consists of knowledge and information. So I feel like the more information we can give each other, the more Black vendors there could be. That's what we have MWBEs for. So other sisters brought me in and showed me, like, listen, this is how you can make more money. Did you know that these contracts exist? Do you know that you can bid on this? This is how this works. So it was all about information. And guess what? That information is generally not information you can get in school.
Right.
You need resources and contacts around you to put some love on you so that you can get equipped to be powerful to do great things. So I feel like the more resources we share, the greater we'll become.
So give the brothers some marching orders. I mean, if you could write my job description, what would you have us do to support these kinds of objectives that you have for Black women?
Support and protect Black women. I'm going to say that again. Support and protect Black women, right? Now, it goes back. You started talking about slavery, right? And we talk about systematic racism, and we know our Black brothers have been through hell and trauma, but you can't beat us up. You can't tear us down. You got to lift us up and support us so that we can work together. So I think that we have a lot of trauma. And that's why mental health is a real thing that as African Americans that we have to address. And then when you get with a sister that's doing powerful things, right? Don't compete with your sister, eat with her, okay? So that's another thing. We get into this race of who's gonna be the best, and because you the man and you got no, we gotta respect you, but at the end of the day, it's okay. It's okay for us to grow together. So I would say to Black men, support your sisters because we love you. We love you with our whole hearts. Protect us from harm because we battle against so much and so many different things, right? And let us also unite and grow together.
Yeah, Jamila, I believe that racism is primarily the job of white people to fix and not Black people. Likewise, I believe that domestic violence and violence against women is primarily the job of men to fix and not women. What do you say to men about this domestic violence? Domestic violence.
You asking all the right questions. I'm just sitting here like the Holy Spirit just rambling through you, huh? So actually, I actually work with Mayor Ross Baraka in Newark with the Shani Baraka Center with women that are victims of domestic violence. And I've seen some things across the time that I've actually been working with these women, and most women who either commit crimes or go crazy, like it's because of something that happened with a man. Right. And it's so bad because it's one encounter with the wrong person. If you're not strong enough, that could tear you all the way down. So I do agree with you. It starts with the man. You got to protect. Well, you can't put your hands on a woman. That's never acceptable. You can't rob a woman or take what she has or be envious of her for what she's gained or what she's doing. You got to get yourself together. And it's a lot of insecure brothers. And, it's trauma. So it's like I don't want to say I don't fault them, because everybody's responsible for themselves, but it's that trauma that has made them insecure and made them feel as though they saw their mother getting beat, so it's okay to beat someone else. It's a history of this thing. So we really need prayer. We really need some therapists on the ground, and our people as a whole, we really need to unite and get together and stop this.
Well, and I appreciate just the conversation. We won't get together. We won't even pray about something that we won't admit exists. And speaking of prayer, you know, the Black church does not have completely clean hands when it comes to the need to elevate women and respect women. You know, the Black church has its own laundry to clean, as it were. You know, for years, Black women couldn't be ordained preachers, and
that's right.
And it's hard for a Black woman with a doctorate degree to be called to a church where some jackleg with a high school diploma, you know, would be considered better than she. We have a lot in the Black community. You know, I went to speak at a college, I won't name it, to the Black students on racism, and after the speech, the sisters came over to me and said, Reverend, you know, we agree with what you said about white people, but if you could convince these guys on camp, these Black men, to respect us, white folk bothering us, it's the Black males on campus that we need help with. And it really opened my eyes, and I've tried my best to be faithful to the principles of decency and honesty in that regard. You know, you're doing a lot of work on in the media and whatnot, but I'm glad you're working with Mayor Baraka. His dad was one of my mentors. I think he's one of the finest mayors in America.
I agree 100%.
Progressive Black man. He's one of the few Black elected officials who has not changed after he won his election.
No, he's all about so I don't know how much of my story you know about, but I spent a decade in federal prison for bank fraud, and I was actually sentenced in Newark, New Jersey, right? So it was crazy how God kind of like brought me full circle around. I got a 12.5-year sentence, and the two white males who kind of instructed me on what to do both got 2-year sentences each, right? And I vowed to never come back to New Jersey. I said once I did my time, I would be done. I would never be back in this place. But however I ended up back in Newark, New Jersey, Mayor Ras Baraka has been such a strong support system to me. I've been in many of his schools and you know, the Shani Baraka Center, now in the Office of Violence Prevention, as a credible messenger, speaking to the people, giving them knowledge and information about how to use their mind to overcome. And as a credible messenger, I warn people about the traps. I let them know, you know, you might think you getting over, but getting over could cost you a decade of your life. So you don't got to do it this way, do it the right way. And from there, it has spread. The messages has spread with his cosign. We now I'm working aside Ted Green in this Mayor Ted Green in the city of East Orange, doing incredible work there. And that all started with Mayor Ras Baraka co-signing us and giving us a chance in his city. So shout out to him, because a lot of people don't believe, and a lot of people don't, you know, co-sign Black women. But this was a mayor that said, you know what, I see you, I believe in you, I've watched you, I see the impact of your work, and you know what, not only do you have my blessing, I'm gonna go ahead and let my other brothers in other cities know this is the good work you're doing, and I'm gonna give you my blessing to work with them too. So with that said, him, forever, for life, I have tremendous gratitude.
And I love him like a brother. Now, you mentioned my curriculum. We have a workbook, we have a book, and we have other kinds of materials. I am going to make our content, our books and workbooks, available to you whenever you need them for free.
That's what's up.
You're working with a group, however you need access to our content, because Black women's lives matter, which includes the ability to attain financial freedom. And we've got strategies, we've got resources. And so just consider dfree your partner for life.
I love it. I would love to work with dfree. Like I said, you know, I read a lot. I'm also a PhD candidate, so I'm in the process of, you know, getting that done to be an official educator, right? But I definitely, I read your books and I'm like, wow, like this is good. And I would like to see them in more spaces and places. So however we can unite to make that happen, that is definitely power. So I'm looking forward to it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Listen, you've heard it, Jamila Davis. There's no one like her. Well, there are people like her, but there's no one that's her. And
That's what's up.
She is one of the leading voices for this generation. She's focused on one of the most critical issues, and that is the psychological, emotional, financial, political status of Black women. And I want you to support her. Go to her website, buy some of those T-shirts that don't shrink the first time you wear them, and support those causes that we say are us. And Jamila, you and dfree are perfect together, and I'm committing now publicly, anything I need is available for free.
Thank you. Thank you. I love it. I love it. I love to work. This is kingdom work. Let's build. So thank you so much for having me. You have a wonderful platform. When I got the invite, I was honored, right? It's Black Friday. It's one of our most busiest days of the year, but I said, I got to stop everything to come and speak to the pastor. So thank you so much for having me. You have a blessed, wonderful day.
God bless you. You too, Jamila.
Okay.